Alright, Chapter 1. English is taught in almost all schools in Indonesia, although each level has a different status and purpose. It has been stated in Permendiknas number 19 of 2005 National Education Standards that in elementary schools English is taught as local content, meaning that students learn English if it is relevant to local student need regional conditions. When the writer observed students of Nusantara Vocational School class 11 Marketing 2 and found that students were very enthusiastic when they learned English. The problem students faced was vocabulary mastery. The author tries to talk to them using English, but they say that they don't understand what he talking about. Then he translates to Indonesian. They try to answer, but they don't know how to express sentence in English. They always ask how to pronounce word in English. The author conducted an interview with a class 11 Marketing 1 Nusantara Vocational School teacher. He said that students usually memorize words using traditional method. The teacher writes on the blackboard, then asks them to memorize this word. But a few days later, students usually forget what they had memorized. Sometimes they still remember the word, but only a few. Therefore, the writer is interested in researching students of SMK Nusantara class 11 Marketing 1. The writer chose word card as a medium to enrich students' vocabulary because word cards are portable. Students can take them wherever they are. They can review all the words on their word card every time and everywhere. When they forget the memorized vocabulary, they just need to open the card and check it. That's all for me, and thank you.
Chapter 2 Theoretical Framework. In this chapter, divided into two, there are vocabulary and word scores. I will explain about vocabulary. First, definition of vocabulary. In this part, the author defined a vocabulary according to several sources. One of the definitions, namely, according to Oxford English Dictionary, vocabulary is defined as total number of words in a language, words known to a person, list of words and their meaning, especially at the back of a book used for teaching a foreign language. Second, type of vocabulary. The author takes several types of several opinions. From foundation mentions two types of vocabulary. Those are A. Receptive vocabulary, knowing or words influence, being able to recognize it when it is heard, what it does sound like, or when it's seen, what does it like to, and having an expectation of what grammatical pattern the words will occurrence. B. Productive vocabulary, knowing of words influence, being able to pronounce the word, how to write and to spell it. From Joe and Aboso and Merrily Felt, give other terms for type of vocabulary. A. Active vocabulary, refers to item the learner can use appropriately in speaking or writing, and is also called as productive vocabulary, although in fact it is more difficult to put into practice. This type is often used in speaking and writing skills. B. Passive vocabulary refers to a language item that can be recognized and understood in the context of reading or listening, while Kate is Pulse defined vocabulary based on its items. Those are a single word. This is the word that people think of first. This group includes the pool of vocabulary of any language. This group includes not only more items, but also use item. B. Set phrases. It consists more than one word and do not usually change. C. Variable phrases. The component of variable phrases usually stay same. However, it has some variations. The variation often influence in personal pronoun or possessive. D. Phrasal verbs. It consists of more than 2 or 3 words. The first word is also verbs. The second word is preposition, article, or adverbs. If there is the third word, it is usually a preposition. Most phrasal verbs are idiomatic expressions, and phrasal verbs does not have connected meaning with its root words. Third, the objective of vocabulary teaching for secondary students. In this part, the author informed that learning vocabulary has several challenges. Therefore, the goals of teaching English in secondary school cannot be achieved if students do not have adequate vocabulary. 4. The difficulties in teaching English vocabulary. The author writes that he has difficulty learning vocabulary. Scott Thornberry mentions some factors causing second or foreign language learners feel some words more difficult. Those are A. Pronunciation, B. Spelling, C. Length and complexity, D. Meaning, E. Idiomaticity, F. Grammar.
Hello, my name is Fadiah Azzahrah and I will present the material about word cards. So the definition of word cards is word card is one kind of form-focused instruction. It is a type of teaching which involves some items to focus learners and attention on specific properties of the L2 so that will learn them. And in the simplest form of learning from word cards is a learner writes a foreign word size of small, easily carried card and its first language. And number 2 is techniques using word cards. There are some techniques that teacher can use the teaching vocabulary by using word cards. And the steps include is A is write the vocabulary items on individual cards with their translation on the reverse sides. And B is learn the words in the context of the sentence in the dialects of your textbook. And C, say the words out loudly. Number D is write down the words that are most difficult to memorize on a separate sheet of a paper and give extra time to them. And A, tape record the words and their definition, then listen to the tape several times. Use pause button to let yourself associate words with picture. And F is a group them by generic categories. And G is make sentences using the new vocabulary and grammar patterns ready for use in the class. And number 3 is activities in using word cards. And A is a peer and teaching testing. Which B is association games, and C is a guess my word, and D is the followed words. E is ghostwriting, F categories, and G back to the board. And H is Pictionary, and the last is word rise. And number 4 is the advantages and disadvantages of using word cards. The advantages is word cards can give a sense of progress and a sense of achievement, particularly if numerical targets are set and met. And number B is word cards are readily portable and can be used in idle moments in art or art class, either for learning new words or for revising old ones. And the last is the advantages of using word cards. Using word cards is an outdated method of learning and it's not agreement with communicative approach to language teaching that the words are learned forever. So the conclusion is some English teaching experts regard that word cards technique is an out of that method. Does not require that students learn English communicatively. It's not being used in communicative purpose. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Octaviana. I will explain Chapter 3, Research Methodology. Planning. After finding the vocabulary problems in the classroom proven by observing and interviewing, the writer gives the task and then plans the techniques and instruments that she will use in solving those problems, such as preparing the lesson plans and syllabus, planning first, giving pre-tests, and making lesson planning second, preparing observation form and observation instrument, acting. In this phase, both the writer and teacher collaborate to carry out the planned action. The writer determines the strategy that is applied in the classroom. She changed the teacher's position in conducting this research while the teacher observes the condition and activities in a classroom. Acting first. Teaching and learning by using word cards to enrich students' vocabulary. Acting second. Teaching and learning by word cards to enrich students' vocabulary. Observing. In this phase, the teacher observes the activities occurring in the classroom and note all on the note field or unstructured observational sheet. When the teacher is observing, she notes all the activities. It could be about students' response, classroom condition, or writer as teacher performs. Observing. First, observing the student in the class. 2. Analyzing the data, giving second post-test. Observing first. Observing the student in the class. Analyzing the data, giving first post-test. Reflecting. In stage. Reflecting. This stage is aimed to reflect down action based on the data collected by either teacher or writer. It is for observation and test. When they still find the problems, they repair in the next cycle by replanning, reacting, and reobserving. The data that the writer collects in this research are from interview, observation, and tests. In analyzing numerical data, the writer gains the average student's score in each cycle. It is used to measure the student's vocabulary master. Reflecting first. Evaluating teacher and learning process and discussion with English teacher and making a new plan. Reflecting second. Analyzing the test and discussing with English teacher. That's all for me. Thank you.
My name is Yulianti. I will explain Chapter 4 Research Funding Nusantara Vocational High School Class 9 to Marketing Program Academic Year 2010-2011. The implementation of CAR cycle first, planning. The writer and the teacher played some instrument they used in the class. They included lesson plan, some word that would be presented to the students, and technique for presenting the word. The writer and the teacher also prepared some note sheet for noting all of the classroom activities. B. Acting. The writer explained about the part of the speech of the word and got the student to make sentence by using those words. It was done to make students able to apply the word contextually. Therefore, the words were more useful. C. Observing. The teacher found that some students were enthusiastic in receiving new vocabulary. They fondly asked teacher in English language. Many of them also never complained when being asked to prepare word card for the next meeting. When the student checked in pair, the observing notes how many words that the student could remember. D. Reflecting. The writer found that the students' scores are better than the post-test. Some students had reached the minimum criteria of mystery learning 75, even though she still found so many students had not reached it yet. Based on the observation, the teacher found that some students did not pay attention during the class. When the writer asked them to prepare the word card, they did not care about it. Cycle 2, planning. The writer got students to make the conversation in pair. It was written conversation. The topic was about asking information. Then the writer made them practice the conversation in pair. B. Acting. She asked the students to make narrative paragraph from about 55 words that she had given. The student must have be able to take at least 35 words to apply in paragraph. C. Observing. In this cycle, she got the student had better enthusiasm. Many students were brave to give teacher question in English and they actively respond the teacher question since the class was more interesting and communicative. The student did not only memorize the word on the card and then check it pair, but also they could learn to apply the word into longer form. In this cycle, she asked them to make paragraph. D. Reflecting. This cycle, the students get better score. There were 25 students had reached the minimum criteria of mastery learning. The mean also improved from 74 to 84. The students were brave in showing up in the class. They actively asked and answered in the English language, even grammatically it was an error sentence. The interpretation of the data. It was before used word card in presenting new vocabularies. The percentage of students passing the minimum criteria of mystery learning was 3.44%. There was only one student getting 75 or above. 28 students were failed. In post-test first, it was conducted in the first cycle of CAR. The mean of students' score was 74. The percentage of students getting 75 or above was 51.72%. It means there was good improvement from pre-test to post-test first. In post-test second, the mean of students' score improved. It was 84, and the percentage of students getting 75 or above was 86.20%. There were 25 students passing the minimum criteria of mastery learning. It means the CAR is called successful because the percentage of students passing the minimum criteria of mastery learning was above 75%.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irman Heryadi. I am from group 4. So I want to explain chapter 5, conclusion and suggestion. Conclusion word course is one way of increasing students' vocabulary that is helpful. Students need to increase their vocabulary since vocabulary is one of the most important components in knowledge. Here, the writer conduct research in word course. The technique that the writer uses here is a technique that increasing students' vocabulary since word courses are portable. Students can word course as the writer has mentioned in chapter 2. It is undeniable that in this research the writer uses classroom action research. It is the can be used here. The writer used Camus and Taggart model as the writer has out in conducting the research. The writer also needs to calculate the validity index difficulty and index facility of test. These are done to get a good test. From this research, the writer found that using word course is a good. In pre-test, there was only a student passing KKM. The percentage of student passing KKM was only 3.44%. It was different with the post-test 1, which the students passing KKM were 15 in post-test. 2, the student passing KKM were 25. The percentage was 8920% in the percentage of the student passing. Suggestion: since using word course is successful to implement in SMK Nusantara, readers to use word cards for increasing students' vocabulary. The simple easy word cards are flexible. It can be fixed, and the word cards also can be used by students to improve their vocabulary independently. However, in increasing vocabulary, the teacher should always motivate the student to always check the cards. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.